Welcome to / malicious compliance, where OP's landlord finally gets the justice they deserve. Our next post is by Roman Napam. While I was earning my bachelor's in chemistry, I worked for the university's hazmat department. My job involved inspecting labs, disposing of old chemicals, occasionally giving people the "you have to be shitting me" stare, and plenty of other fun activities, so our esteemed researchers can figure out science in a safe environment. Quick description of the campus. One building was a more recent construction. It has 2 wings, and was shaped like the vaguely S-shaped Tetris block no one loves. The east wing was full of laboratories, 3 full stories, and basement of labs. Cancer research, Alzheimer's research, deadly banana fungus research. The place housed a most prestigious staff of brilliant minds trying to solve the world's problems. The west wing housed the administrative offices of the university. Accountants, bookkeepers, and assorted bean counters, HR and desk jockeys, all the way up to the dean. People who, unlike their eastern counterparts, seem to be the cause of many baffling questions like why are our emergency expenditures still not approved? Why is there a problem with my payslip again? And why is there so much red tape? That building was connected to the rest of the campus via underground tunnels, accessed via the basement, and had 1 elevator per wing. Now the thing is that the loading dock is in another building. So when the labs receive their orders of chemical, they grab their cart and scoot down the tunnel to the arrivals, load up their cart, and carry it back to the lab to be safely stored, on penalty of getting the "are you kidding me" stare, or a long lecture by my boss. Important point, the rules prohibit using the stairs with hazmat, elevator only. It's safer this way. So one day the science wing's elevator breaks down. I send a request to have it fixed. At least 4 lab employees also send it. We received the response that we all should use the administrative elevator. I replied that since one of the labs is on a sort of half floor, the only way to reach it is the science wing elevator or flight of stairs, highlighted the risk of falling while carrying heavy boxes of chemical in the stairs, or how there was no way to safely carry very heavy gas cylinders up those stairs. They were having none of that. Use the administrative wing elevator. They will call to have the elevator fixed, but it is considered low priority. I showed the reply to my boss. He was the type of guy for who workplace safety is no laughing matter, and I was expecting him to reply with a strongly worded email, and about 4 to 5 paragraphs from various workplace safety laws text. Instead, he had a strange smile. "Oh, don't worry, Rum. It'll soon be a priority to them." 2 days later, my boss comes in. "Rum, don't forget the biohazard truck comes tomorrow. You should collect the wastes from the labs." Oh boy. Biohazard day. The day where I get to leave my office, visit every lab in the university, jokingly saying "bring out your dead" as I enter, and having a chat with teachers, classmates, and various lab aides. I put on my lab coat and protective goggles. And don't forget, the elevator in the science wing is broken. You have to go through the administrative wing. Oh, now I get it. See, when the pencil pushers decided that fixing the elevator wasn't a priority, they didn't realize that I would be walking around with a cart filled with containers bearing a bright yellow biohazard logo, and returning with them full of old petri dishes full of culture medium. And any biochemist's microbiologist worth their lab coat will tell you, culture medium stinks. It smells like regurgitated baby food left out in the sun. So here I am, walking in front of all those nice offices and meeting rooms, the clack 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 of my cart full of biohazard announcing my arrival, and the smell of death following me. Yes, I made sure that all bags were properly sealed, but it's one of those powerful smells that just doesn't care about that. The nice lobby outside the elevator, where people wait to meet the dean. "Hello, sorry about the smell." The meeting room with the open door. "Sorry about the noise. Can I get an update on that elevator?" People walking down the hall in their office suit. Wow, they sure do seem a bit nervous seeing a guy in lab coat driving around containers with the biohazard symbol on them. Should I tell them it's harmless, unless you're severely immune compromised? Nah. Oh, and my cart has only room for 3 of those containers, plus the new ones I leave to replace the full ones. Biohazard day is about 2 to 4 trips per floor. After the second of such biohazard day, we got a message stating the elevator will be fixed over the weekend. As you pass by their offices, you should have loudly commented to yourself, "I hate how this smell lingers for hours, days even." Our next post is by Pale Cause 3707. Not sure if this counts as malicious compliance, but here goes. When I was 18, I worked at an independent video game store. This was in the era of the original gray PlayStation. My boss was of an older generation, and still liked to fix things. He was pretty good at it, so people would bring consoles and computers on for repairs quite frequently. One day a customer came in holding a ratty carrier bag. My PlayStation has stopped working. Can you fix it? I told him we'd have a look, so he reached into the bag and pulled out the console. He pulled out the console and placed it on the counter. It was filthy. Younger readers won't remember how old computer used to turn yellow-brown due to a combination of the type of plastic and cigarette smoke, but this was like that, only turned up to 11. It was covered in something yellow-brown and sticky, like coffee stains. I reluctantly pressed the open button and found out that the inside of the CD drive was also covered in this sticky substance. There seems to be something in the CD drive which may be causing the issue, I commented as tactfully as I could. Oh yeah, I spilt a cup of coffee on it, but I didn't think that would affect it. Can you fix it? Yes. But it will cost £269. Wow, how much is a new one? £249. So you think it's going to take that long to clean and fix it? This is where I was lucky the customer had a sense of humor. No, this one is broken beyond repair, and I really don't want to clean that gunk off it. I'm going to walk over to the shelf and get you a new one, but I'm going to charge you £20 to unbox it. Can I just buy a new one? Yes, £249 please. I like the addition of the 20 quid inconvenience fee. Our next post is by MUDDY0258. So this isn't by any means a groundbreaking malicious compliance, but as a long-time lurker, I'm just glad to be able to share a little story of my own. So context, me and my fiancé live in the USA, and had an opportunity in another state that required us to move pretty quick. Our lease required 60 days of notice before we move out plus a buyout fee, but because of the situation, we weren't able to give 60 days of notice. We're also already not really happy with our landlord, because she called us 6 days before we moved into this unit, about 10 months before all this went down, and told us she would have to delay our move-in by a week, and move us to a completely different unit, because the people in our unit decided last minute not to move out, despite being required to by the same lease we signed. Not that I want to kick these people out on their butts with no place to stay, but our landlord didn't really apologize to us, instead just emphasized how much of a tough situation these tenants put her in by remaining in our unit. In an emergency, we had to stay with my fiancé's family for that week before moving in. On top of that, she really hasn't been the best while we've lived here. The only way the office will accept any kind of correspondence from residents is through their online portal. We're not allowed to email them directly, only call. And even then we can't place maintenance requests over the phone, and the online portal has been down a total of almost 90 days that we've lived there. Not 90 days in a row, but there was a 2-month period where it was down completely, and it was down sporadically throughout the rest of our stay. No alternative for the portal was ever provided. So here's the story. I sent our landlord an email letting her know that we needed to move out soon. I think the date was 45 days from when I sent the email. In the email, I included that we understood our financial obligation, and that we intended to continue paying rent through the end of our lease, since we really aren't giving her 60 days notice before the move out. I wanted to give her the courtesy of being able to rent out the unit, or at least, begin to look for other renters, and have them move in sooner, so the unit remains occupied, and they can rent it out sooner. Our landlord shoots back insisting that we must give 60 days notice before moving out, and that we must pay the buyout fee to leave early. The buyout fee was about 3 months of rent and we had 3 months left on the lease, so we would have to pay the 60 days of rent, and then the buyout fee on top of that. She stressed that we needed to read the lease before bothering her, because all of this information was already in there. On top of that, she included several pages of the lease, including the page with the clause about needing to move out if another tenant has signed a lease for your unit. Cue malicious compliance. Maybe it was her including that clause that upset me, but I had enough at that point. I emailed her back and simply said upon further review of our lease, we've decided to stay until the end of our lease on date. As that date is more than 60 days away, I hope it is alright if you consider this our notice that we are moving out and do not plan on renewing our lease. Thank you. A couple weeks later, my fiancé and I packed our bags and moved out, leaving the unit empty. My aunt and uncle live nearby, so we gave them the keys. They went to check on the unit and run the lights and the water about once a week to make sure everything was still working. Our landlord emailed us a couple times near the end of our lease asking if we would be out of the unit so they could bring their new tenants in to tour the unit. Unfortunately for her, we were always busy, and the apartment was never clean, so she couldn't give them a tour of our unit. When our lease was up, I took a trip back to town to drop off the keys and do our final checkout. Overall, We saved several $1,000s that we would have had to pay in rent, and we cost her several $1,000s in revenue from not renting out her empty unit for 2 months. She was none the wiser. Our landlord shoots back insisting that we must give 60 days notice. Before moving out you agreed to pay the rent until the end of your lease. That is giving more than 60 days notice. When you physically move out is none of the landlord's fucking business. Our next post is by CHEESECUTTER13. MC from my clerk. Whilst serving in the British Army, I was posted as training warrant officer, sergeant major, to a reserve unit, then part-time, me full-time, organizing training weekends etc. One of my colleagues, also a sergeant major, Dave, married, was having an affair with some floozy. He decided he didn't want to keep it going so basically ghosted her. Anyway, she found the number for the unit clerk, I shall call her Linda, and rung her asking where Dave was, and why he had not replied to her calls. I was in her office using the communal PC, when she received the call, and covering the phone asked me what to tell her. I spun my chair round, and offhandedly, jokingly, told her tell her he was killed in Afghanistan or something. She looked me dead in the eye, put the phone to her lips and said to Floozy sorry, he was killed in Afghanistan, then put the phone down. Fuck. I thought that was a bit harsh, but then quickly forgot about it. Anyway, Floozy now finds the commanding officer's phone number, and rings and asks why she was never informed her boyfriend Dave was killed on active duty. Cue an investigation which was passed on to my Dave's boss, a major, Bob, to get to the bottom of this. Bob is a clever guy, and does his homework, before getting Dave in to have it out. Are you having or have been having an affair with said Floozy? No sir, never, not me. Are you 100% sure about this? Never sir, I am a married man. This is your last chance to come clean. No sir, not me, never. Major Bob then turns his computer screen round, displaying an email which Dave had sent to Floozy, naked, with erect penis. Then explained this. Okay, maybe I messed up a bit, though the joy of listening to the unraveling of this saga which I had basically initiated with some expert MC from Linda. Ferengi rule of acquisition number 60. Keep your lies consistent. Our next post is by SILENTSILENCE123. I used to work in the automotive industry, and started as a co-op student, and worked up to be a contract quality engineer. I spent almost 5 years there before having to find new work. I had been there on co-op for 2 years, and been given the opportunity for a contract, even though I wasn't done school. My old boss and new boss liked that I was a dedicated employee, and had a great work ethic. I had a great reputation with the engineering team, and though I made some mistakes the floor staff trusted me. During my second year on contract I worked with a truck manufacturer that we made some parts for, and I had been their contact person for issues and testing requests. One day this manufacturer had a part fail catastrophically. They called our head office, and threatened us with a recall. It was all hands on deck. I went out to my customer, and took care of them. It was a complete cluster F for about 6 weeks, but we solved the problem. My customer had high praises for me, and wanted to make sure that I was going to manage their account for the future. Fast forward to the 4 months before I leave. The company gets sold and my contract is now going to be my last with them as the new owners want to bring in their own team. I talked to my boss, but he is in a hiring freeze until the next fiscal year. So I'm now in a tough spot, but I work through it. Due to me being a recent graduate, and a contract the new owners don't feel it's necessary to train my replacement. I have a single meeting with the new executive team and explain to them all the things us quality engineers provide to our customers. I get told the following: why would we offer such services for free? We need to make money, and if this doesn't make money, then we don't need it. I agree that we should make money, but good customer service has given us a lot of contracts that otherwise would have been sent elsewhere. Let us decide how we manage. You just need to make sure the parts are good. Okay then. I take this time to decide that I am now going to work whistle to whistle and only do what is on my job description. Because I'm now just working my normal 40, there are tasks that would usually get done by me after hours that start to slip. By the time I leave, all of my normal extras I do are now in complete disrepair. I thank my boss for his support and my former boss before packing my desk. My last day was just before Christmas too. Over the next month my boss calls me and asks if I would come back. After my experience with the executive team I respectfully declined. After another month I get a call from the executive team asking for me to come back. Again I declined, but I ask why such a request. Well, one of our customers has become unsatisfied by our new service, and we need some help to get it back on track. Oh, so my customer Who I explained, wanted a good level of customer service is now upset. For context, they are about 50% of our total business. Look, will you help us or not? I will for 2 weeks at engineering rate, $120 per hour. Absolutely not. You can have your old contract renewed with 50 cents per hour raise. No thank you. I hang up. I reach out to an old friend a few months later and find out that they lost my customer and are now struggling to keep their other customers. I guess good customer service can be the difference. History is full of people buying a successful business and running it into the ground. Yet it still amuses me every time it happens. That was /@MaliciousCompliance. If you like this content, consider subscribing because I post new Reddit videos every day.